Okay. Enough of that out there. I see you all getting your groove on. I know it's the cool tunes, right? It just encourages a bit of boogie, bit of moving around. How you all doing? Hope you're all doing fine today. I'm back again. Time for us to retreat into the comfort of the KBS safe space one more time. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, and girl, oh girl, oh girl, do I need a safe space today? So how you all doing? And yes, let me tell you from the offset here, that there's a good chance I may get triggered. I, Kev Baker, may be triggered early on in today's little get-together here. It's not a show, it's just a get-together. You know, this isn't where you get the full polished KBS article that you can only really get on tfrlive.com, Truth Frequency Radio. Shameless plug for the home of KBS there. Be sure and join me later today. I'll be flying solo, but I've got so much good stuff to get into, on top of all the good stuff that I've got to get into here today. And obviously I took a little day off yesterday. I gave the throat, the voice, the cough a chance to go away, took a little rest, you know. I followed advice, took a rest, and we're back. So last night I had an amazing show, as you can see there. Charlie Robinson. I actually had a lot of people reaching out today, telling me that there was some things that Charlie and I were talking about last night that they never actually realised before, which is always nice because that's the hope all the time. Going over an event like we did yesterday, obviously, it's mainly preaching to the choir. However, because we're in this mass apocalypse that's going on right now, people wanting answers on everything and asking all the right questions, you know, there's still people out there who need to be brought up to speed with everything that happened that day back in September. And today, just like I was saying last night on the show, it arrived. I don't know if it's back to front on the screen there or not. It might be. But it's David Icke's latest work, and I urge everyone to get a hold of this. Even if you don't read it, there's a good chance within the next couple of weeks it's going to become one of these banned books. And along with banned books and things like that, this crazy world that we're moving into today, and in fact, we're already here. There's a banning of books. There's a banning of people over on, you know, big tech, over on the internet where we are now. And there's also like this big push to ban words, and words offending everybody. It's so infuriating, and that's why, yes, in retaliation to the craziness that's going on, the full neck beard is getting grown. I'm not just going, you know, the kind of 5 o'clock kind of shade thing anymore. No, I'm going full neck beard, so that people definitely don't mistake that I self-identify in this day and age of self-identifying, okay? I identify as a toxic male. Now, because I identify as something, you had best respect my beliefs and my rights that are thrust upon me the minute I participate in the self-identity Olympics that's going on out there right now. But I'm not going to get triggered just yet. Not just yet. But one of the stories, the first story we're going to go into today, I think it's going to trigger men and women alike. I truly, truly do. But before we get there, let me remind people, if you want to support the stream, and I would very much appreciate it if you could and would, then please consider one of the following options. You can become one of the KBSers, and all you have to do that is join the YouTube channel here. Big join button down below. That unlocks all of our cool emojis and more to come. And as we gain subscribers and members some months, we also lose some. Because I do a variety of topics, people come and go. So I think we're still at about 3 new members to get the emoji. At least, I've not checked today. So I'm kind of just speculating on that one. You can also consider a super chat, where your chat will come up on the screen. Don't do any yet though, folks, because I need to go in the back end. I need to turn Brian back on. That won't take me a minute. That won't take a second. We can do that on the fly here before we get going. Or you can join the Patreon. Now, over there, you join the Patreon, you join the YouTube channel here, or even if you just turn up and support us for free. We've also got this new thing that's taking shape in the background called the Disco. Yes, the KBS Discord server, if you want to get technical. And that's absolutely free to join. And if you enjoy what happens in the chat room here, or in the chat room at tfrlive.com. This is somewhere where you can all get together 24/7. There's already people having a blast in there. All you have to do is get in touch with one of the mods in the chat room, namely Nana or Kristen, or you can email me at kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. That way you get free access, you get into the conversation. Nothing that we wouldn't talk about on air, it's just somewhere we can all hang out 24/7, right? So before we get into it, folks, right, I'm just going to turn back on Brian, the AI assistant, just in case we get any super chats as the show goes on. But while I'm doing this, prepare yourselves, take deep breaths, and guys, get yourself into a happy space, because this is going to get real uncomfortable if you've got testicles. Just like that, just like magic, everything was fixed. I thought the AI was going to say no to me there, but no, Brian's cool like that. So yeah, we've got the super chats, everything are all primed, ready to go. And just you being here is a huge, huge, huge support to the stream, okay? So then, the first story today, not today or not today, that's the question. No, you'll often find in the real world out there, there's certain ways that we greet people. And one of my favorites is, hey guys! Or it was. Because they're literally saying that the welcome, the statement, hey guys, despite the fact it's always been pretty much accepted as being gender neutral, I can't remember anyone ever getting offended when they heard somebody saying, hey guys, but it's a thing now, right? It's a thing in these times of self-identity Olympics and words offending people. And although they're in the vast minority and nobody in their right mind actually agrees with this kind of thing, what you find is, we've got Brian coming in for a test in a minute. We've got Brian coming in. Here we go. Brian should be good. I treat him nicely. I really do. Oh, where's the music, Brian? Where's the music, Brian? Oh, come on. Right, now I'm panicking. That should have worked. He's on the screen. Why have I got... Right. I know why I've got no volume. It's okay. It's been fixed, folks. He will be making volume from now on, I think. And no, that's not a hint for anyone to test again. Please don't do that. Please, I wouldn't like to do that, honestly. And Sidvich, thank you very much, my friend. So yeah, hey guys, it's now offensive. Can you believe this? The speech police are now getting their knickers in a twist over something that in my reality has never offended anyone. You know, and as we're going to see in this little article here, and I've got a video. Oh man, I've got a video. We're going to let it educate me. Obviously, me being an old school dinosaur, toxic male, somebody that embraces and enjoys the fact that I'm a man, I need to change my ways. And I need to start with the term, hey guys. I need to stop calling people guys. So I'm just making sure I've got this all fixed up and I can get back to work here. I call it work. This isn't work. Here we go. Turn that up. Yes, I think we're good to go. I think we are. Super chat. Volume. Open text to speech. Volume. Yes, we're good to go. Brian is in the house. There we go. Save that. So yeah, let me get back to it. And it's good that I've taken a little break there to do that, right? Do you know why? Because I know I'm going to get triggered when I'm reading out this article. This kind of thing really annoys me. Truly, truly annoys me. And it's funny, you know, because I read the first couple of pages of Ike's book today when it arrived. And it actually deals with this kind of thing. Come on, Brian.
Second Brian test. Hey guys, bals.
Yeah, hey guys, exactly. Did anyone get offended when I said hey guys? And Sidvich, thank you so much, sir. So much. And that's our Norwegian brother, funnily enough, over there in Norway. And I'm loving this whole Scandinavian kind of vibe we've got going on during the day. I was talking to Anne about this today. And I would imagine the guys and girls and men and women over in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and just about everywhere else around the world have never been offended by somebody saying, hey guys. So let me just read this bit out here. It says, a broad coalition of English speakers. A broad coalition. What makes up a broad coalition? Is it like this minority kind of fringe, barking, crazy mob that seem to be accentuated, elevated and promoted via social media, while at the same time anyone speaking against them gets trampled on? And like I was saying just before we had that coming in there, David Icke deals with this in like the first 2 pages of his book. And I'm not really all that clued up on like the political strategies and how all that kind of world works. But you hear people talking about Marxism. And this is what we're dealing with here, you know. As opposed to us being divided by class, i.e. the upper class, middle class, lower class, working class, whatever you want to call it, which was your kind of first form of Marxism. What they've done now is they've swapped that out for identity, self-identity Marxism. And of course, that pairs you off against anyone who doesn't identify as the same group that you're in, if you want to put a label on yourself. I'm not one of those people. Personally, I think we're all just human, and we're all having this wonderful individual experience. And we should always remember not to impinge and impeach on the rights of others to have the same bloody experience. But I'm not going to get mad here. So it says teachers, retail workers, ice cream scoopers, and plenty of others is grasping for a more inclusive greeting. Who has felt, come on girls, tell me, and we've got a good kind of female listenership here, something else I'm quite proud of. When you look at the analytics, it's basically 50-50, men and women. Have any of you ever been offended when you've heard somebody greeting a group or welcoming you by saying, hey guys? Never. Nobody felt left out. You see how this is a non-problem? The speech police, as I call them, are out to fight non-problems so that it gives people in the wider public the perception that there's a huge problem and it needs changing. And we all need to change our behaviour to pander to the few, to the very few who have been weaponised to get offended by things like, hey guys. So then, phone's going off. I'm ignoring it. Armand's got the link for the show. We're all happy now. Well, we're all happy for a moment because this is where it all stems from, folks. And this is a website called nowthisnews.com. Hey guys, it might be time to stop using this gendered phrase. Gendered phrase. Where do these people come up with this stuff, okay? Like I say, speech police fight non-problems. And they uphold and fight for the right of the minority, like this individual you see here, to impose these crazy, crazy new ways of thinking in an attempt that will change our way of behaving. That sounded quite clever, right? Here we go. Take a listen to this, and I will be pausing it because I will get triggered several times. And Lee, in the chat room, he identifies as an alien. Exactly. And I respect your right to identify as said alien, Lee, so long as you respect my right to leave me the hell alone. But that's all I ask for. Nobody's bothered about this. Nobody ever stood up in a college or in a classroom and said, right, that's it, I'm out of here. I feel so offended that we were greeted by, hey guys. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Now
Oh, hang on a minute now. Hang on a minute. She's offending people now, right? Now I'm confused.
This. Guys is a simple term. It could mean boys, or if you're modern, hip, it means people.
Yes, it means people. When used in the right context, it includes everyone. Don't let your insane way at looking at the world and listening to the words that people use, don't let that affect all the rest of us. Please. Please don't. Because like I say, non-problem.
At first glance, guys seems inviting, friendly, maybe warm, even comedic at times.
Oh, how offensive that the word guys, when used in the right context, can seem warm. How bad a word that is. We need to stamp it out right now, right? Ridiculous.
But it, like many male default terms, should not be normalized as an all-encompassing phrase, innocent as it may seem. While we may understand the word means no real harm...
Okay, so you're admitting that you understand. There is no problem with somebody saying, hey guys, thank you. Thank you. But now you're going to slip back into this word psychosis, this self-identity lunacy that isn't even epidemic. It's not. It's so small. It's only confined to small pockets of the population. I wonder where you find them. Usually college campuses, the odd protest, somewhere like that. But when you're going about your day-to-day life, I don't meet these people. They definitely are, like, inserted into our simulation for this purpose at this time, right? Right? They must be.
With a deeper look, you'll understand that we've been ignoring the cognitive impact on women as well as gender non-conforming folks by only...
Has it ever had a cognitive impact on you ladies out there? And has it ever had a cognitive impact when somebody says, hey guys? No, didn't think so. I was just checking. Maybe I'm not from this world.
Only explicitly addressing the male identifying individuals present. The meaning of guys has changed over time. According to the Washington Post,
no, okay. Let her go.
Etymologists believe it began in the 17th century with a guy named Guy Fawkes, a participant in the failed 1605 gunpowder plot.
Yeah, so the next time somebody addresses you as, hey guys, you best be offended. Because realistically, what they're inferring by calling everyone guys is that we're all terrorists that are going to bring down a government. Is this really the case that this clown is making? I should have had the clown horn out for this one, shouldn't I?
He only barely escaped a brutal execution by jumping off a scaffold and breaking his neck. For the next few centuries, those who likened him in fashion, appearance, or intellect were referred to as guys.
And now we need to all change our language on the back of this. Be offended. You better be offended, guys and girls. And anyone else out there. It's, theys, thems, theirs. I don't know. What do you identify as? Aliens. That's right. Aliens, Lee said.
Eventually, according to the Boston Globe, the term broadened to describe creepy people, then to a generic term for men. And
when did guys ever, when did somebody say to you, yeah, that guy over there, when did that mean that he was creepy? I've never lived in a world where the term guy has kind of had the meaning of a creepy one. It's sleazeball, creep. Funnily enough, creepy people are usually called creeps, and it doesn't really leave much ambiguity about it, does it? Creeps are creeps, guys are guys. Yes, exactly, she deserves it. Multiple honks, multiple honks.
And now, some would say, a gender-neutral phrase. For decades, we have set a standard of only addressing the men in the room.
But no, it's not. Come on, guys, what do you call it? Is it like a colloquialism where it's like an accepted term that includes everyone? It includes everyone. Just stop being so stupid.
Of course, we claim it's colloquial, but with our elevated knowledge and inclusive perspective, it just seems lazy, inconsiderate, and a small part of what reinforces the gender hierarchy today. How is
the gender hierarchy? I don't know, but the last time I looked, the ones that are fighting all this anti-sexism things, i.e. people like her, They've become the sexists. Is it just me that thinks that? It's like you've got the people on the left as well, that Antifa mob, and they've basically become the thing that they're meant to be protesting, the fascists. You see how it all gets a bit weird and blurred and just utterly ridiculous.
Is one to feel empowered to speak or assert themselves when upon greeting they're misgendered or even ignored in language. Can we be surprised that for decades women often felt uncomfortable asserting their voice when we didn't even take the time to properly acknowledge them?
Oh, listen, come on. Look, I mean, come on, really. Yeah, at one point, definitely, women weren't given a fair crack at the whip. But that wasn't my fault. I shouldn't be made to feel guilty for that. And at the same time as well, it was never anything linked to the welcoming phrase of, hey guys, okay? Stop it. Just stop it. How stupid do they think people are? But they're aiming for that audience, the ones that will be actually, you know, when they watch this, they'll go, oh, that's right. That's a thing. And they'll act like they've always been offended. They're so fake. These people are not real.
These linguistic tendencies were developed and reinforced in eras where women were barely meant to be seen and certainly not heard. Please note, you're not a bad feminist if you're comfortable with using the phrase guys. There are larger issues that we, the feminists, need to combat. Reproduction.
Do you think? No shit. No shit. That's the first thing I really probably agree with here. And I've got nothing against feminism, but not to the point where it gets to this rabid kind of level where anything with swinging bits between their legs, you need to go, guys. We need to go. Even that term, guys, just the term, the gender itself, all of us need to go, right?
Reproductive rights, rape culture, violence against women, LGBTQ rights, and the general reprogramming of most people's minds when it comes to the valuation of women in society. The
reprogramming of our minds when it comes to values in society? Really? Nice.
When you stop valuing the personhood and visibility of individuals, you make it easier to dehumanize them on a macro scale, minimizing his, her, its, their right to respect and equality. I'm not.
Oh, she was so inclusive there, eh? So inclusive. Not making sure not to offend that 0.0001% of the weaponized useful idiots that would be offended by that.
I'm not offended per se if someone lumps me in with the guys. I'm sure there's really no malintent. In fact, if you and your friends want to freely address each other, by all means. I just want you to know that you're one small step away from making a more conscious effort to dismantle the patriarchy. Don't believe me? Try walking into a room full of cisgender heterosexual men and triumphantly announce, hey gals, okay girls, thanks sis. I'm sure within 10 minutes, if not seconds, at least one person will correct you. We should all be as protected.
Because that isn't a colloquialism. That isn't something that is commonly used when addressing a room of anyone. So, you know, do you see what I'm saying there? Our points are even
of our gender identities as a cisgender heterosexual man. We deserve it. So what can you do? Substitute one hey guys with a simple good morning everyone.
Oh, right, cool. Now we're getting our notes. Is class comfortable? Are we all comfortable? Stop playing with the Play-Doh out there. Put the finger paint away. We've got a teacher coming to the safe space today. I want you all to pay attention now. I want you all to pay attention to this genius, this absolute genius, that without her input into our safe space, we would all be bad people. Now, you ready, guys? I mean, them, oops, people, they, them, you, it, those, I don't know, but ready. Take notes if you want.
Hi, y'all, folks, everybody, scholars.
Who the hell says hi, scholars? Hey there, scholars. What? Really?
Team if you're at work, campers if you're in the forest.
Hey, campers if you're in the forest. Where's this going? What's a beehive? Is that like a Beyonce at the center of a hive mind? Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. But that's okay. That's okay. That's a nice thought. That's a comfortable kind of thought, right? Beyonce as some kind of queen AIB with all of these beehives, you know, all of these bots making up the beehive. And I don't know what a beehive is. It might be something completely different. So if I've offended anyone with my, you know, misappropriation or misuse of that term, I'm very, very sorry. I'm very sorry. Back to the safe space education today.
Beehive, because it's always appropriate. You can also
How's beehive always appropriate? What does it even mean? Give me a minute. I need to check this. Beehive. Behave, more like. Yeah, the Beehive is the name given to Beyonce's fans. That's literally what we're talking about here, right? So it's all right to address a room with men and women in it and say, hey, Beehive. But yous were getting offended when we were referring to something. Of course, it's inclusive, the Beehive, right? Because there's guys like Beyonce. I get it. I'm sorry. I'll shut up again.
just find ways to insert people's names and address everyone present.
You mean like we're taught when we're like learning how to speak when we're toddlers? You know, hello, hey guys, hey you, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Reprogram our minds to accept these crazy values, folks. And they think that they're the majority. They think they're doing well. These pesky, useful idiots, they're everywhere.
And when in doubt, say nothing at all. Hey.
When in doubt, say nothing at all. The way the attack on the language is going right now, I think we're all going to be left doubting anything we can say. We're literally going to have to turn into a nation of zombies. Literally. Hey, you. Oh, can you call somebody you? Maybe they don't identify under that, like, gender pronoun or like, I don't even know the terms used in this craziness that we're navigating right now.
Works. I challenge you to take an extra 0.5 seconds to think about what comes out of your mouth before you say it. Somewhere along the way, hey, you may slip a guy out or two. But thank you in advance.
You know, it happens. It happens from time to time. You know, girls, maybe from time to time you might have to use that horrible, offensive, masculine word of guys, but that's okay. It's okay to slip out one or two here or there. You know, so long as you thrash the next man that you meet in the street or something, it's okay. You can buy yourself guy credits, right?
Trying. You can say that all of this is silly or too PC, but there are always larger societal implications of language. The way we use it and weaponize it.
Yeah, you're weaponizing it. You better believe it. And the people that she's talking to, the ones that'll swallow this up like it's manna from heaven, they don't even see that she's hiding in plain sight, that this has all been weaponized. And you weaponize something for a reason. Not good enough to, you know, defend or divide us on class levels. No, it's a self-identity division now. Where not even men and women anymore. That wasn't simple enough. No. We need to like create subgroups within men and women so they'll all fight with each other as well. And all the while, you know, the people that we should be kind of focusing our attention on, those ones at the top that are absolutely, you know, loaded, living off all of our hard-earned tax money, things like that, they get a free pass, especially by people like this, because they do that virtue signaling thing. They pretend to support the same lunacy, the same craziness, and that's what makes it seem like it's a thing. But in reality, folks, never forget this isn't a thing. It'll only become a thing if we convince ourselves to the point where, like she said, we need to stop and think before we say something. We can't get to that point where we have to be stopping and self-censoring and running things over in our mind just in case, God forbid somebody gets offended by it. It's nuts, right? It's nuts.
Face it, the things we do and say matter. So if you do...
Oh, Amanda, you can't be calling us flowers. Come on now. Maybe some people in here might find that term offensive. I don't know.
Nothing else. Repeat after me. I am powerful.
Does she strike you as powerful? No offense. No offense to Tom. She's a highly intelligent lady. However, she's been used as a tool. And like somebody in the chat room said there, I'll just try and find it here. I think it was Jill. Yes, Jill. Great comment. Great to hear the PC lobby talking about weaponizing language. PC at its root is weaponized courtesy. Fantastic. Exactly. And I couldn't have said it better myself. And I was talking a moment ago about this division, dividing us, the sexes, man against female, not enough. So we start to give people these alternative genders that they can identify by. And listen, if you identify as something else, have at it, enjoy it. Just don't wear it as this like invisible cloak of armor and go out into the world attacking people with your ideas. Enjoy what you are. Identify as to whatever the hell you want to identify as. If you think you're a PC monitor, cool. I'll come and scrub you every couple of days if you want. If that keeps you happy, my point is, don't try and impose all of this onto other people. But it gets worse because not happy with just doing the individuals, the sexes against each other. No, we have to go further than that. We have to rip up the family and divide them as well. And this is going to make people go, this must be satire. Kev, you've got to be joking. But they've literally now done away with the game Monopoly in the form that we always knew it to create this. Miss Monopoly, or should I say Ms. Monopoly. I'm going to read out the first couple of paragraphs of this. It's not actually a long article. But now this is like Hasbro. They're pandering to this weaponized, or these weaponized idiots out there about one of these non-problems. And they're doing it in the house in the form of board games where the family are sitting around, where it's meant to be a good time, you're having fun. But no, we have to politicize it. And we have to use this as a vehicle now to sow the seeds into the minds of the children, to cause a little bit of angst in that family unit, because God forbid we have any kind of strong family unit. That terrifies these people that runs the planet. It terrifies them. It truly does. And that's why you see all of these kind of new genders and sexual proclivities and things like that being almost, pushed out there on people, because that too weakens the family. But let's get into this. I won't get triggered, right? And again, remember what I was saying about when the people that are protesting something end up being what they were protesting against. So you've got people that have been protesting, women that have gone in the past, and think of the things the suffragettes and everything went through rightly, right, to get the vote and things. And then, instead of reaching that point of, getting the rights that you're fighting for, well, then now you turn into what you were always against in the first place. Because now you're sexist towards men. See how it morphs over the years? So let's take a look at this. In 1906, Lizzie Magie, a feminist writer, activist, and game designer who was then 40 years old, placed an ad for herself as a young woman American slave. She was, she wrote, intelligent, educated, refined, true, honest, just, poetical, philosophical, broad-minded, and big-souled, and womanly above all things. Now, a petite brunette with grey-green eyes she was, in her own description, not beautiful, but very attractive, features full of character and strength, yet truly feminine. The stunt, which was meant to raise awareness about women's inequality, included Maggie's own weekly pay as a stenographer, made headlines nationwide. It came just 3 years after she filed a patent for the landlord's game, today known to most consumers as the board game Monopoly. "We are not machines," she told a reporter at the time of her slave advertisement. "Girls have minds, desires, hopes, and ambition." This week, Hasbro, which sells Monopoly, announced the latest incarnation of the game, Ms. Monopoly, According to the press release, which makes no mention of Maggie, the new title character, a smiling, chestnut-haired woman in a blazer, wielding a travel coffee cup, quote, is an advocate whose mission is to invest in female entrepreneurs. Now, the company claims that it's the first game ever where women make more than men. In this version, female players start out with $1,900 in their coffers, and male players receive a mere $1,500. Women receive $240 for passing go, but those pesky men, those toxic males, those threat to mankind, can I say mankind? Or is it like womankind now? Is it personkind? Now I'm confused. But men are stuck with the same $200 as in standard old dinosaur toxic masculine Monopoly. In a promotional video featuring soft piano background music and scenes of girls soldering, sketching, and kicking ass in white lab coats, Hasbro notes that only 10% of patent holders are women. The response has been, well, more Baltic than Broadwalk. A number of right-wing pundits and Twitter users lamented that Hasbro has become too politically correct. Me thinks so, and me thinks they are going to fall into the category of going or get woke, go broke. You know when you see these companies pandering to this minority, and this is what proves they're a minority, folks. They forget about the customer base that they've always had, and they virtue signal with things like this to this minority. So the minority may run out and buy this game, but probably not. And you'll have the families that were always buying Hasbro games going, well, I'm not bringing this into the house. This is ridiculous. Get woke, go broke. Be very, very careful of it, Hasbro. In a day and age where board games are already dying, which I think is a bad thing, it's a good way of bringing the family close together, some family time. More and more people are switching out for electronically. I play Scrabble with my mum every night of the week. And Anne's laughing here. I know it's the bane of my life, right? I'm only joking. But we do it electronically. So companies like this, you have to be really, really careful who you're signaling to here, folks, because it might just be the last iteration of Monopoly that you ever come out with. So it says here, comments were hurled about get out of jail free cards tied to false #MeToo sexual assault allegations and women trying to profit off sexual assault settlements. Critics on the left argued that the lopsided economics of the game aren't actually promoting equal pay. You think? See how it's meant to be, we're all wanting equality. Men and women want equality, I get that. But not to the point where it's not equal. You see? But, somewhat encouragingly, another common response was that Hasbro's attempt to tout its new title as empowering to women, while ignoring a woman's role in creating the game, was, at best, hypocritical. At worst, omitting Maggie from the Ms. Monopoly story only reinforces the false, misogynistic, and all too common belief that Monopoly is, then and now, purely a man's game. Have you ever played Monopoly? Usually when there's a chick playing Monopoly, she wins. Okay, they're better with money. They're more switched on at that game. It's not sexist. It's just a fact, okay? So for me, it's never been a dude's game. I don't know. Maybe I am a dinosaur, okay? It says, in the 5 years I spent reporting my book, The Monopolists, published in 2015, which chronicled the discovery of the board game's invention, Hasbro declined to comment or acknowledge Maggie's role in originating the game. So these, these people that are so on the face of it with Ms. Monopoly, that they're so for that feminist cause, right? Go girls, girl power. But yet they haven't even made the point that it was a woman back in a time when they were oppressed that came up with this game. You see, that is kind of hypocritical. No, absolutely. So we go on here. Maggie's story is widely accepted by game historians and bolstered by at least 2 patents, myriad newspaper clippings and US Census records, letters, several sworn depositions, the US Supreme Court, and acknowledgement in the National Women's History Museum and the Smithsonian. But when I asked a Hasbro spokesperson this week about Maggie and the Ms. Monopoly game, she credited Charles Darrow as the person who had invented the game in 1935, 3 decades after Maggie had received her patent. However, the Hasbro spokesman said in a statement, there have been a number of popular property trading games throughout the history. Elizabeth Maggie, a writer, inventor, and feminist, was one of the pioneers of land-grabbing games. Oh, nice of them to give her some kind of mention. In 1904, she received a patent for the Landlord's game, which was meant to educate people about the dangers of wealth concentration. Now, I'm going to drop that. I'll read this bit here because it's quite interesting. Hasbro, a multi-billion-dollar juggernaut based in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, wields considerable influence over the minds of young girls and boys. Since the book's publication, I've heard from countless female game designers, software engineers, executives, and other girls and women hoping to blaze their own careers, particularly in male-dominated worlds, who were inspired by Maggie's revolutionary exploits a century ago. She received her patent from the Landlord's game before women could vote, let alone dream of making an iconic creation that millions would enjoy a century later. She did so at considerable risk. The story of how Monopoly came to be is an overlooked chapter of American capitalism, perhaps one that mimics the often cruel nature of the board game itself. All told, Maggie earned a mere $500 for the game and died in 1948 without children, working in obscurity in secretarial work. So, yeah, I'll drop the rest of that into the chat room right now. I'm going to come over to the chat room. I'm going to see what you people are saying. But is it me, folks? Am I like dated? Am I one of these like dinosaur misogynist types that need to go? Am I stopping, us all becoming more progressive and inclusive and hey guys? Oh, can't say that, right? So yeah, I'm going to come over to the chat room. We'll get some tunes on. We'll get some groovy tunes on in the background, right? Do 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 do. You like it? I can see you all rocking away happily now, right? Probably my music offends people. Let me go into the chat room. Carol Shaw. Women are not witches, but they are teaching how the world works. Women has a place in this world just like men. Exactly. All of us equally. But not equal to the point where it ends up unequal, right? That's how I see it. So Aunt Nanny Granny says we loaded our camper with games and would set up at night in the screen tent playing games. It was fun. Yeah, I used to love playing board games as well. Who doesn't like a good board game? And there's always somebody in the family that's like ultra competitive, right? And that in itself, that can be a source of amusement, even if the game's not. And Aunt Nanny Granny says you're keeping it real, Kev. Lee, yep, it's all your toxic masculinity. I sometimes wonder that, Lee. And I'm not joking. I sometimes wonder, like, am I just like out of touch? Maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm just not going to the right places to see that these kind of things are a thing. So Sid Vitch has got the kind of, he's got the instruments going, we've got in there. Frank, welcome back to Frank. Make sure to tag Kev. Yeah, that'd be a big help. We've got Susie here. Big love from a wet Wales. Just got home and waiting for me copy of The Trigger. Oh, I didn't mean to make you jealous, Susie. I didn't. I'm going to scroll back up, see what people have been saying. And Frank Lucas says, the Scottish gangbanger from Glasgow, Hitman Kev. Yep, that's me. I don't think I've ever been a hitman for a gang, but would I tell you if I had been? And Annabelle says, there are new games for get-togethers where every player is part of the team to reach an objective. Those are popular. That sounds pretty cool. It does. Frank says, women are graduating and paid more than males now. Yet who invents and does the heavy lifting, dirty, hard jobs? And I'm liking this. I'm liking the comments we're getting here. We've got an incoming. 2 seconds. Here we go. It's going to come in a second, folks. We've even got some music for it. We've got the white hats for Brian. Brian's a white hat. He rounds people up and takes them to Gitmo. He does. When he's not working here, that's what Brian does. I mean it, honestly.
You made me wanna play Larry again. But don't tell the girls.
I won't tell if you don't tell. But we have got an Australian in the chat room. Whoop whoop. It's Hecky Deck, and Australia says, "G'day, mate." How long until the Australians are banned from saying mate? I imagine they're going to start saying, excuse me, they're going to start saying that mate is too masculine a term. G'day, people. G'day, guys. You can't say g'day, guys. G'day, cobbers. And I bet you a cobber, or a cobber, whatever, I think it's cobber, I bet you that's going to be offensive to people as well. You see how this escalates out of control. Obviously, you Australians are going to have to start calling, or stop calling people Bruce. Everyone's going to have to be a Sheila, right? Right? I'm crap at the Australian accent. I honestly am. I love the accent, but I'm very crap at it. So we go back into the chat room. Tinker Pollard, love it. You've highlighted my name. It makes my world so much easier. Have to leave you early. Going randonauting with my daughter thanks to you. We'll report back if we find any pee bottles. Tinker, that's awesome. And randonauting is something we were looking at the other day. Something we can maybe use to glitch the matrix. Glitch the matrix? You know, perhaps if we are in a simulation, whether we like it or not, things are predetermined. Where we are is where we were always going to be. But if you start randonauting, which is, there's forums on Reddit, you can get yourself it's like a thing that creates a quantum random number generator. From that, you take a location. It's like GPS. It's somewhere local to you. Somewhere you would never have gone that day. Never. It's a totally random act. And what people are finding is that there's weirdness when they go to these places. Animals are acting strangely. There seems to be a frequency of bottles of urine turning up. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm liking it though, and Tinker, the fact that we've got you and your daughter doing that, I mean, it's something you can do as the family together equally without having to buy Ms. Monopoly. That term always gets me, Ms. You know when somebody introduces themselves as Ms., you know it's going to be a long conversation, folks. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be a long one. But we go back into the chat room now, because this is what it's all right. Jimbo says some mornings I get up offended. I get up offended as well. Offended at the fact I've got to live on the same rock as these people that are so easily offended. It's a nothing problem. It's the speech police fight nothing problems. But it gives you the idea that there is a problem and, oh, well, we best shift our values. You know, we best shift the way we think just so that we don't offend anyone out there. Tinker said, we decided to go because my daughter mentioned randonauting at the same exact time you said the word randonauting during your stream. Yes, synchronicity. Boom. You have to look out for synchronicities, folks. You have to. And myself and my mum were talking the other day, and this is weird. This is so weird. And I'm going to get into it just now because it's synchronicity is dictating that I speak about this idea, this conversation I had with my mum. And the other day, I was sitting here watching TV, and one of the ads came on during the break for something. So, I just, Hecky Deck, we love you too. All good. Yep. Don't ever apologize. All good. But back to this little kind of synchronicity. This is weird. So I'm sitting watching TV. An advertisement comes on. And I'm looking at the lady in the advertisement. And I'm thinking, damn, I know her face. So immediately, for the first time in many, many years, had totally been put to the back of my mind. It was something that had happened in school. I, at one point, had actually gone out with this girl, boyfriend, girlfriend, in school. Nothing serious. You know how it goes. The boys and the girls are just starting to go to discos, things like that. You get the drift. So I come to find that this girl I went to school with is an actress now, and she does work on the TV. So that's fine, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, oh man, that's like nearly 30 years ago. Never really thought of it. Never thought of the person really. And there it was, thrust in my face on this advert. So I'm telling my mum. She's like, that's weird. I never even thought of them for like so many years as well. But then this is where it gets totally weird. So the girl in question had a brother, okay? My mum, she's sitting up in the north of Scotland watching the news the next night. And for the first time in, say, the 30 years that have passed since we knew these people, the brother appeared on TV. Now, you can't tell me that's not some kind of synchronicity. And I got to thinking, well, what does it mean? Now, I don't think there's anything with this individual in particular that's synchronistic, but what I think this might hint at, go with me here, folks, go with me. I think it might be a glimpse that past, present, and future are all happening at once. Let me explain it further. We talk about like the Holy Trinity, right? Father, Holy Ghost, Spirit, that kind of thing. Everything seems to come in threes. And what if timelines do? So in this little idea, this thing that got sparked off in my mind by this weird events of synchronicities, I'm thinking, what if Kev here now is Kev present? But there's also Kev future, and there's also Kev past. And I wonder if when these things from our past are brought back into our consciousness, maybe not in the obvious way that I experienced, but maybe when you've been sat there and somebody from your childhood has just randomly popped into your mind, or something you'd done as a child randomly pops into your mind. What if it's not just so much random anymore, but what if that's the point in the cycle, the point in the timeline that early Kev is on, that early you is on? Young you is living that moment, and for some reason there's a little bit of bleed through. You pick up on it again. It's an echo of something that you've already lived, but that new version, the one on the timeline behind, is living through. And then think of it further. Deja vu? What if that's evidence of the fact that future you has already done that exact thing, that you're getting that weird deja vu woo happening to you? Sidvich in the chat, he says here, I bet this is something people can relate to. He says, that's happened to me. He says, I've also true dreamed about the future before and proven it in video. And what if it's not a dream? What if it's you, your consciousness, the timelines, somehow syncing up with future you who's living it? It's just a thought, folks. It's just a thought. Deja vu. How do you access that 5-10 seconds of the future? Are you really being prophetic Or could you be tapping into the consciousness that makes up all of you, past, present, and future? And why, out of all of the memories that you've amassed over the 30, 40, 50, however many years old you are, why just specific ones from a specific day at a specific time where you can almost smell it, you can almost touch it, you're almost reliving that? Why did that memory come through over all the others? Could it be that that younger you is also at the same time tapping into something, maybe something emotional going on that is enabling you to pick up on that message from the past that will become your future, that affects you now in the present? Oh, yes. Folks, you are going to not believe this. This is woo. We're talking synchronicities, following the signs, looking for these markers, right? And on my phone, I get an alert. I'll come back to these. I get an alert. I've got my phone here, right? Don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's a telegraph, okay? And I think I've flipped my image so it's back to front. Do you know what the headline of this story is? It's making me think I probably have to cover this story. It's called, now bear in mind everything we spoke about in the show already. Just think about what we spoke about. The headline is it right to teach children that there's 100 genders? Woo! Oh, dang. These daytime streams, I don't know how they're ever going to go. Sometimes I think we're going to have a bit of a comedy stream. Other days I get triggered, like today. Then I get into some real deep and meaningful time woo. The music's very appropriate, right? Sounds like the deep state are coming. They're coming to take me to Gitmo. I'm only joking, folks. Will we get into this story? I think I'll leave that one for later on tonight because I've got a couple of other stories. Or should I follow the synchronicity? Should I follow it? One in the chat room if you want me to explore what the universe cast my way while talking about all of this. Or number two, if you want us to move on to some space woo. 100 genders. I'm going to bring it up, folks. Give me a second. I will bring this up. We need some apt music for the occasion, I feel. You guessed it. Okay, I've got it. And thank you, folks, for being patient when I set things up like that. I really appreciate that, really do. Here's the email, just so you can see. No shenanigans. I literally got that as we were talking. I'll turn this off. Right, I'll put this away over here. If I zoom in on this, look at this here, 3 minutes ago. So literally, like I'm saying, we're doing it live. No need to make this stuff up. Synchronicities are cool. When they're happening, you need to explore them. And that's what I get met with. Is it right to teach children there are 100 genders? So you end up coming across here, and how dare the BBC teach children that there are 100 genders? Question mark. Let's have a look and see what it says, folks. Let's blow it up so you can see it. What are the different gender identities? Asks a little boy in one of the 9 new BBC Teach films put out to support the personal, social and health education curriculum in schools. To which the head teacher replies, that's a really, really exciting question. Back in my day, I'd have got scudded round the back of the head and I'd have been told there's girls and boys, you idiot. How times have changed. Actually, it's not. And the answer is still less exciting, which is perhaps why rather than give the boy a bold, biological and distinctly boring fact of 2, the video cuts to a relationship and sex education teacher hopped up on her own gaping mindedness. Quote, you know, there are so many gender identities, she enthuses. We know that we have got male and female, but there are over 100, if not more, gender identities now. You see how it keeps getting bigger and bigger and divide us further and further and play us all off against each other. Even by today's Emperor's New Clothes gender diversity narrative, 100 has to be pushing it. Woke Facebook currently lists 71 complex and hilariously repetitive options for those who feel manacled by the also reductive male and female. I like this article. I really like this article. It's by, who wrote this? Celia Walden. I like you already, Celia. Loving it. It says, and despite 4 years at medical school, where you'd hope the basics had been covered, your local GP will only recognise 6 genders. Only 6? How uninclusive, but what about the other 94 plus? Male, female, gender neutral, non-binary, gender fluid, and gender queer. I get confused. I'm not gender confused, but all these genders confuse me. But children, insists the BBC's relationships and sex education teacher Kate Daniels in the film, might well find these too limiting and think to themselves, I don't really want to be anything in particular. I'm just going to be me. Armand in the chat room, and I'm going to Armand because his message has got the whole thing there. It's got the highlighted Kev Baker show. Use @Kev Baker show and you'll get to me quicker. In Brighton, a school shut out girls from wearing skirts. Yep, we watched that. We actually watched that here on one of the safe spaces. And the police enforcing all of this in the background. You know, imagine the audacity of a bunch of girls wanting to wear a skirt. And imagine the fact that must have been offending, maybe 2 people in the school? Probably the headmistress or headmaster or head whatever, 98 other identifiers it goes by. Who knows? But it says here, chart the gender diversity madness back to its origins, and you'll find that I'm just going to be me. Ironically, a concept young, agenda-free children naturally embrace is at the root of it all. Exactly. We shouldn't even be getting into this stuff with children, folks. Just let them be children. And it started off this BBC propaganda video by the sounds of it, you know. They're talking about the fact that this little boy asks the question, how many genders are there? No little boy in the history of schools up until this creepy period we're in now ever asked how many genders there are. Okay? It never happened. It was never a thing. It's crazy. Again, this is where we get the kind of speech police and the kind of value police and the value mob stepping up and, this is a thing. It's not a thing. Self-expression. Sorry, I missed a bit out there. And beyond my horror at the propagation of misinformation and the upholding of this noxious nonsense by a corporation whose journalistic duty it is to deal not in fads but facts, is the fear that we'll make this new generation of children as self-obsessed as the supposed grown-ups willfully warping their minds. And that is the plan. So Jimbo says, hey Kev, you still weedless? Best get some soon, all this gender confusion. You're going to need it. Oh boy, do I need it. Boy, oh boy. But I'm glad I've got a clear head to tackle something like that. Well, clearish, shall we say. Hypothetically, of course, you can't smoke that stuff in Scotland. Come on now. You try to make me incriminate myself. I'm already incriminating myself with the kind of attitude I take. This beard incriminates me, right? Right? So it says here, self-expression may have been prized since ancient Egyptians first began daubing hieroglyphics, but not until 1960s did it start becoming fetishized in the way it is today, when expressing yourself no longer means appreciating individuality and producing something of a wider cultural value to be enjoyed by others, a work of art, say, that might enrich the world around you, but folding in on yourself and behaving in an unashamedly selfish way. So, like teenagers, with far more tools of self-expression at their disposal than the old hair dye, piercings and tattoos that we had to make do with, people will play around with their identities and pronouns well into adulthood, going into work dressed as Alex one day and Alexia the next, because they've been told they can. Never mind that the client has no idea who they'll be meeting from one day to the next, and that taking your personal whimsies into the workplace is the apotheosis of unprofessionalism. You're just expressing yourself, aren't you? And folks, don't worry about the little cough. That was just a tickle in the throat. I am so much better, honestly. Thank you for all your love and prayers and everything else out there, but I am on the mend now. Don't you worry about that. It says, along with the myriad of incarnations of that wonderful bottomless you. So let's see, we don't have much to go here. I'm glad we went to this story, though. Likewise, the health and nutritional idiosyncrasies we all now like to shout from the rooftops, I can't eat that, I'm vegan, keto, 5.2 in, are pure self-expression and therefore hollowed. So whereas I was brought up to leave anything I couldn't or wouldn't eat discreetly on the side of the plate, we must now all be made to know and care about other people's foibles. As women, we're encouraged to express ourselves by locating our period pride and brandishing tampons in the office before talking loud and proud about the menopause once we start going through that. And perhaps I'd find all this self-expression a little more exciting in exactly the way that relationships and the sex education teacher found the idea of 100 plus genders if it were focused on something less superficial and narcissistic. And of course, it's all a lie. Because what the 9 to 12-year-old children in those BBC videos weren't told was that they would only be free to express themselves in one way, the right way. This is an absolutely brilliant article, folks. Brilliant. So that if one of these girls later chooses to express herself in a more traditional manner, say, by wearing a skirt, secondary school like Lou's now famous Pryor School, which this term made gender-neutral trousers compulsory for new and existing students, that's what our man's talking about, that would not be allowed. In fact, she would be turned away from the school gates. All of which is likely to leave us with a generation of lost, confused, and angry adults asking a question we will find very difficult to answer. How did you, or how did we, let this happen? Let that sink in for just a moment, folks. How did we let this happen? What an article that was. Thank you, universe. Definitely glad I went to that one. Fred in the chat says it's all simple, divide and conquer. I look at it as divide and conquer on steroids, Fred. I really do. Because, divide and conquer would have been simple enough with men against women. But they've come up with all of these other identities and genders and given all of them their kind of catchphrases, their things that they fight for and stuff like that. And it's got to the point where not just the division is enough. This is a form of mental illness. Not people identifying as something that we don't identify, not that, but the way that they've weaponized it and the way that they've used the useful idiots out there to be vocal and to shout this from the rooftops. They've made non-issues issues so that we all change our values to something that we were never before. And like that article highlights, if it was about self-identity and appreciating and being inclusive, then the girls wearing the skirts would be allowed in the school. You see? But they're not. They're not allowed to express their identity as girls, as young women. You see how that works? So it is definite. Divide and conquer, the oldest tactic in the book, but with so much more attached to it. So much more. So then, I'm off my high horse now. We're off the gender thing. I'm never getting monetized today. I want to thank Sidvich for the super chats. I want to thank all of you members out there who continue to support the channel. If you'd like to support us, consider a membership. We've got Patreon, we've got PayPal, various ways to do it. But you know me, I'll be here anyway. So I was going to go into this story next, but I'm going to save it for tonight. I think it's really cool. People out there, I've seen even before the stream started today, I would imagine I've got a thumb down because somebody's seen that I was going to be speaking about space woo, right? And it offended them. The fact that I believe in space offends people. That's the world we live in now. So this year, water discovered on a super Earth raises first real hope of alien life. I would imagine, right? What they're saying is this planet, it's a super Earth. It's like a couple of times the size. They've got water vapor. It's got oceans. It's got land. Only problem is the gravity. Nothing's going to be in our shape or form living there. But what it does do is, for me anyway, it supports the idea that there's going to be planets just like Earth out there. And there's also going to be planets that are so different from Earth that we're going to be scratching our heads trying to figure out what the heck's going on. The universe is vast. Absolutely. Trillions and trillions of suns, all of which will have planetary systems going around them. And all it takes is one to be similar to Earth here to have life just like us, similar to us. But think of all the other ways that life can take form and take shape and take root. Yeah, we're carbon-based, but there's so many other ways it might form on other planets as well. Our biology, the stuff that we think we're so expert in, is very much confined to this planet. Very much confined to this planet. But as you move out there into the cosmos, and maybe into the multiverse, you can't tell me that we're the only planet that supports life. And that doesn't take away from God, a creator, or even my simulation theory. A simulation this vast, you would have to think that there's other programs running within it as well, right? And if you're not into the simulation, whoa, Ryan!
Share the love, guys. No our way got this stream.
No our way, Norway. I'm going to come over there, Sidvich. You really are. You're making me remember my time in Norway. Or is that younger Kev? Is there a younger Kev in Norway? Is he getting ready to go to Norway right now? And that's why it's kind of, you see. Okay, you got a link for the Super Earth story. Brother, absolutely, Fred. It's incoming into the chat room right now. And folks, if you want to keep up with all of the links and all of the stories that we do touch and we don't touch during the stream here today, go to the Discord server. You can email me over at kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. That's kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. If you could give me your YouTube channel name and the name that you're using on Discord, that way we know who we're talking to. There's no shenanigans going on with data, nothing like that. Talking of data, that's going to be one of my topics tonight on the Kev Baker Show, because get this, we shouldn't be surprised, okay? But they're now having an investigation over the Prime Minister's plans to collect data on gov.uk users folks, they're making personalized, individual data files on all of us. They're already doing it, but the fact they're now going public with it, this is one step towards some kind of internet ID. I'll be talking about that over on the show tonight as well. We cover so many topics, right? So many topics. But the last one we're going to get to today, and I just need to make sure I've still got it up here. I always like looking at the dumb criminals out there. Boy, oh boy, this comes from the KBS Discord server. I think it was Dead, one of our mods in the chat room. I think Dead dropped this in there. And it takes me to the place that I've been waxing lyrical about for days now. We've got somebody called Louisa in the Discord server, and she thought I was making fun of the fact that I love Australians and I love the Australian accent. And Kevin, do I love the Australian accent? I certainly do. See? So then, let me play this one here, because this one definitely will be a nice way to end the show. We're going to end every day's kind of stream with the dumb criminals. And this one here, man oh man, he definitely fits the bill. So let's go down under for a dumb criminal.
A not-so-smooth criminal has taken the idea of an
I like that. Not so smooth criminal.
open bar to the next level, breaking into a pub and helping himself to everything in sight. The problem with the Perth man's plan, once he got in, he couldn't get out.
A master criminal, or maybe not. This thief fell through the ceiling into the Champion Lakes Tavern at Camillo, then got the party started with a bottle of spirits, kicking off a big night ahead.
Got into the pub and he couldn't get out.
Pub to himself.
You see how happy this guy is? Like, he's just had his shop and pub robbed, but look how happy he is. Only in Australia do you have this kind of thing happening, and the dude's laughing about it. And you'll see why he's laughing in a moment.
He couldn't get out.
Pub to himself, the 29-year-old man from Armidale gets to work. He starts remodelling, tipping over chairs,
He's got a problem with the
drink in
furniture.
hand. Takes a moment to rehydrate with the beer taps, and then decides more chairs need to go.
Get some.
Over the next few hours, he causes all sorts of damage, including tipping over the TAB machine and ruining the tills.
The guy's in there. He's a red-blooded Australian, you know, he's in about the alcohol first, but why he starts to trash the place, I mean, that's just rude. That's just rude. You know, you're taking it too far when you start trashing the joint.
He's gone through and destroyed everything.
Still looks
Smashed,
happy.
I think it's about 7 windows, bottles are everywhere.
All tuckered out, he passes out on the pool table before it's time to go shopping. There's no customers about, and the booze is free. He fills a trolley, making sure to line his...
This guy would be, considered a legend in Scotland. This is what we would call a bit of a character. Seriously, this dude is a bit of a character.
Stomach on the way,
Oh, potato chips, he had a few of them, must have been hungry.
and decides it's time to leave with his ill-gotten gains. He removes the security bars from the roller door, stops for a little kip, has a go at the fire extinguisher, but then realises he wasn't so clever, and there's no way out.
When the
Oops.
police got here, all I could hear was cries from inside, let me out, let me out.
The police dart through the pub, putting an end to our would-be cat burglar's eventful night out. He was charged with stealing and destruction of property. The owners estimate he caused $50,000 worth of damage, but they're taking it in good spirits.
Look at him laughing. That's what I love about Australians. You know, you look in the face of adversity, 50k down, insurance will probably cover most of it. But what's he doing? Laughing. I love Australians.
A high price to pay for a shot at the title of Perth's dumbest criminal.
It's not a shot. He has to be Perth's dumbest, right? But if there's other dumb criminals from Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, anywhere else around the world, let me know. Let's make them a star of the Kev Baker Show. Ding! Zinger. That was like a little kind of bit of poetry there, right? Didn't even plan it. Must be synchronistic. Guys, hey guys, see how I've done it? I'm already alienating large swathes of the audience. I wouldn't think there's anybody in my chat room here. Not my chat room. How egotistic did that sound? But, you know, I wouldn't think there's anyone that's offended by the term, hey guys, okay? I wouldn't think so. Right then. So, we're almost out of time. I want to thank you all for turning up today. We're going to take a look at the chat room, though, before we go, because that's always going to remain a big part of the show. Tony Phillips has highlighted my name. Says, hey, Kev, your man Sean Atwood has turned up at Bad Person Maxwell's place, and her cleaner answered the door. Yeah, I heard he was going to be going there. Sean Atwood. Love that guy. He's doing some really good work. Check him out on YouTube. Sean Atwood, channel name. Very, very good work when it comes to all of that nasty stuff with these creeps. Yeah, the right definition of the word creeps. Not just guys. I know that we're now told guys means creeps as well, but yeah, those creeps that Sean Atwood and other cover all the time. He is doing some great, great work. So, Hecky Deck says 50,000, love you. Hecky, $5 I love you long time. I'm only joking, man. So Charlie Robinson says, don't gender me. Charlie, were you here for the start of this lunacy? You missed me. I was getting triggered, dude. Can't ever say hey guys now. Can't be saying that. And if that's not enough to trigger you, Charlie, get yourself some of the Ms. Monopoly, where the Mrs. that play the game. If you're female, you get like, what was it, $1,900 to start with. And pesky males, you pesky man. You in the house with your wife and your daughter, Charlie, you start at a disadvantage, dude. They only give you like $1,500. And then when you get sent to jail or you pass go and you get 200, your daughter and your wife get 240, right? Because that's equality. That's equality. All in the name of equality, brother. All in the name of it. Don't trigger me again. We watched this genius as well. Absolute genius explaining to us all about the history of the word guys and how it's one of the most evil things in the world. And if we could just change that word and call people, hey, scholars, hey, crowd, hey, campers, if you're in the forest. I'm not making this shit up. You don't need to make this shit up. This is the crazy world that we live in. But let's get into the chat room. Point of privilege. UniRach, everyone, UniRach in the chat. We have to, shh. She's making a point of privilege. Hey, guys, offends a potato like me. Well, I'll give you the jazz hands. Since it's a point of privilege, I want everyone giving Rach the jazz hands. I stand corrected. I'm going to go and shave half my beard as like penance and bow down. Bow down at the altar of fallopian tubes forever and, just admit my sins for having testicles. I know. I'm triggered. Not very often you'll see old Kev Boy triggered here. Yeah, Kev Boy, man, masculine, get it? Beard, triggered. I'm only joking, folks. Don't do it to me again. Rach, see what you done. Sidvich, thanks for the coffee stream. Although it's beer time here, thanks, Kristen, is going for some 420 for ya. Stay safe, guys. The Kev Baker show. So yeah, we've got like the other half of Unirock in the chat room. Always a good day when the other half of Unirock's here. Even better day with Uni himself here. And I'm sure he's watching in the background because we know that because Uni has a set of swingers between his legs, he's obviously persecuted. He's a downtrodden male. He's sat in the corner. Rach dictates everything to him. She tells him when he can stream. She probably makes sure he never says, hey, guys. Like Anne's choking on her salad right now. I've probably offended Anne. Who knows? I have no idea. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's streaming. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm a bit mad. Oh, not a bit mad, I'm very mad. Yeah, okay, I'm really mad. But it's a good mad. It's an offensive mad. I'm a cast back to the old days when men were men, women were women, and in the Highlands, sheep were scared. So if that offends you, probably not the place to hang out every day right here on the stream. And remember, check out the show with our man Charlie Robinson from last night. How you doing, man? Check him out. He's looking awfully big and kind of Nephilim there, but he looks kind of cool now. Look at that.
The overwhelming majority.
Look at that beard. Another dude growing the toxicity. Loving it. So until tonight, folks, I'll be back on the stream on tfrlive.com. No simulcast today. So I'd like to see you all. If you can, if you've got the time, head on over to tfrlive.com to the chat room that started it all. And here we are now, coming together on a daily basis to try and make sense of this craziness in what I call the safe space. It's where we can get our finger paints out. It's where we can call each other boo-boo and baba and nobody gets offended. And we'll sing Kumbaya. And And we've got the odd expert speaker coming in to educate us on the ways of this new world. I think the safe space is a winner. And Charlie Robinson, if you're a lizard, my friend, I will absolutely pander to your needs. I'll turn up the heating. I'll rip the AC out. We'll let you do lizardy things. We can sit and read, Charlie. We can sit and read together. I'll teach you, the lizard, how to speak. So, yeah, it's been fun today, I must admit. And I've gone for pretty much the 90 minutes I was aiming for. So, another couple of comments from the chat room. Tessa, thank you very much, Tessa. Yes, I was just saying to Anne today, I don't know how Anne controls herself when I'm like wandering about the house like this with this beard and things. Come on, girls. I mean, it's quite kind of irresistible, right? But I did see her buying some Velcro gloves, so I better watch myself. Who knows what's happening? We've got Queen Goddess. Great show, Kev. Thanks, and see you later. You see, there's two ladies, two people of the finer sex that I haven't offended with my old school speak. Hey, guys. We've also got Brian in there. Everyone have a blessed day. Good show, sir. Peace, friends. Nice, you got the book, said Charlie. You better believe it. And Charlie, the first couple of pages triggered me into this. It did, because I got that synchronicity. Ike pointed out all of this self-identity stuff. I come online, there's all this self-identity stuff. Triggered, dude, triggered. The speech police will be coming for me very soon, don't worry about it. If I'm not on tonight, somebody says, buy all LGBTQRSTACSs and U Street people. Love it. Philip, great show. Thank you, Philip. We have Fred. Thanks for this very offensive show. Mission accomplished then. I achieved the goal I set out before I switched on the stream. Susie. And thank you, Susie, Aunt Nanny, Granny, Sidvich, members, any other members in there as well. Great show, Kev. My neighbour took my book in for me. Oh my God, I don't want to drop the trigger on my foot. It might break it. It's huge. It truly is huge. So Aunt Nanny Granny says, I don't do chores anymore. It may interrupt my SS time. Yes, and that's not the bad guys from World War II algorithm. We're talking about the safe space. KBSSS. Well, that's a bit of a mouthful. Safe space, definitely. Hashtag safe space. And Stimulate says, Kev has got a devilish thigh tickler there. Absolutely. Running Turtle, hey, what happened to that old saying? F 'em. If they can't take a joke. Exactly. It used to be sticks and stones would be like breaking your bones and words never hurt you. But now people can take sticks and stones and it's words that have people scurrying away to the corner to get some relief from these pesky people that use words like guy and think that we live in a world with men and women. Oh, these dinosaurs. It's mental illness. There's something wrong with the world. Brown chicken, brown cow. We also have Heggy Deck. Yes, good. Yes, sir. Good one. Love from Canberra, Australia. Hard out. Complete agreement. Love you. And I love you right back, Hecky Deck. Right back. Canberra. Love it. Jimbo says I can go and catch the beginning now. Good one. Much love. I'm ordering my book today, says Kristen, and she's doing it from the bad people over at Amazon. I'm only joking. We love Amazon here, right? I mean, I order stuff off Amazon all the time, so I would be a hypocrite if I sit here and kind of like say bad things about it. Seeing if there's anything else. Sid, thanks for the coffee time stream. We had that one. That's about it, folks. That's about it. And yes, point of privilege before I go. Point of privilege. Shh. Just be aware, folks, when I'm doing the stream, if you could keep the noise down, please, because it really kind of, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I get a little bit triggered and offended when you're making noise. So can we see a jazz hands to that one? Yeah, jazz hands. That's the crazy world that we live in. And on that note, there can be only one music to take us out. Only one. You better believe it.
I do cocaine.
Somebody in the chat room says this is my creepy porn music. Oh no, this isn't my creepy porn music. You haven't heard anything yet. You haven't heard anything yet. And Anne has choked on her salad. Nice one. Nice one, War. I like that. Timing's everything in a joke, dude. You can hear that coughing? That's not me for a change. That's what it sounds like when a bit of lettuce goes down your throat the wrong way. Cough it up, Anne. Hey, guys. Oh, sorry. I love you lot so much. I'm out of here. Creepy porn music. You lot. See you tonight on TFR. TFRlive.com.